Persian Gulf. 3:14 p.m. Broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. The USS Theodore Roosevelt, a United States aircraft carrier, is conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal. On the bridge, sailors run standard drills. Aviation cycles continue. Then, Iranian coastal radars switch from passive watch to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock onto the carrier. No warning, no broadcast. This is not a drill. In military doctrine, missile lock is a pre-war action. It compresses response time to seconds. For Iranian commanders, geography and distance create a perceived window for decisive action. What Iran does not see is the American response has already begun. Silent, invisible, absolute, minute one, electronic sensors pick up changed radar signatures. Analysts confirm hostile targeting. Commands flow down secure channels. No public announcements. Minute 4. Electronic warfare units begin to interfere with enemy guidance. Signals degrade. Tracks become uncertain. Minute 10. Posture shifts across the carrier strike group. Air assets reposition. Defensive radars tighten. Rules of engagement are reviewed and held. Minute 20. Intelligence and command centers synchronize. Communications go to alternate paths. Leadership consolidates control. The emphasis is deterrence, not escalation. Minute 30. Enemy operators find their bearings unreliable. Tracking locks break. Target solutions drift. Silence replaces the chatter of confident targeting. Minute 36. The crisis resolves without a kinetic exchange. No missiles are fired. Preparedness and command control deny initiative to the adversary. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade across coastal networks. No missiles are fired, but there is a total loss of initiative. The outcome is clear. Silence, not destruction, is the result Iran did not anticipate. Deterrence, control, and readiness decided the day. Persian Gulf, 3:14 p.m. Broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. USS Theodore Roosevelt is conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal. 20% of the world's oil moves through these waters. That is nearly 1 out of every 5 barrels burned in cars, planes, and factories across the globe. Each day, 21 million barrels of crude and refined products pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Most of that oil heads east, toward Asia's refineries, Europe's ports, and the world's largest economies. A single tanker can carry up to 2 million barrels. On any given day, dozens of these ships form a slow-moving convoy, stretching from the Gulf's inner harbors to the open sea. The Persian Gulf is not a wide expanse. At its narrowest, the Strait of Hormuz shrinks to less than 30 nautical miles, barely enough space for 2 lanes of tanker traffic, plus the constant churn of patrol boats, merchant vessels, and warships. There is no alternate route. Block the strait, and oil markets everywhere feel the shock. Prices spike, insurance premiums rise, shipping schedules unravel. For energy importers, even a brief closure can trigger panic on trading floors from London to Shanghai. The channel is hemmed in by the coastlines of Iran to the north and Oman to the south. Sandbars and islands force all deep draft ships into a pair of narrow traffic separation schemes, each 2 miles wide. There is little room for error. Navigation is tightly controlled, and every vessel is tracked by radar and satellite. This geography gives Iran a unique advantage. From coastal batteries and radar sites, Iranian forces can monitor and, if ordered, target every ship that enters or leaves the Gulf. The short distances mean reaction times are measured in minutes, sometimes seconds. For a carrier strike group, maneuvering space is limited. There is no way to hide and nowhere to run. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock on. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. A missile lock-on is treated as a pre-war action. It signals intent. It reduces decision time. Commanders treat it as the opening move. Iranian command calculations rely on geography, distance, and compressed reaction time. They expect an advantage. They count on the narrow lanes and short ranges to limit options for any carrier strike group. What Iran didn't realize was the response had already begun. U.S. sensors detect emissions. Shipboard radar confirms. Electronic support measures classify the emitters. Intelligence updates flow up the chain. Commands change posture. Aircraft launch for combat air patrol. Destroyers and escorts reposition to expand defensive envelopes. Electronic attack packages move to deny targeting. Communications are monitored and hardened. Weapons remain at ready as a deterrent and as an option. There are no public announcements, no theatrics. The escalation is silent. The fight is in the electromagnetic spectrum. It is posture, readiness, and control. It is a demonstration of dominance by preparedness. Minute by minute, systems confirm and recheck. Tracks are correlated. Targets are questioned and reclassified. Rules of engagement are reviewed. Political and military leadership synchronize decisions. The pressure is continuous and disciplined. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade. No missiles fire. Initiative collapses. Silence, not destruction, becomes the outcome Iran did not anticipate. The choke point remains open. Global flows continue. The message is clear. Preparedness and resolve can neutralize a threat without a shot being fired. Persian Gulf, 3:14 p.m. Broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. USS Theodore Roosevelt is on station. A U.S. aircraft carrier conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal at first. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock on. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. Missile lock-on is treated as a pre-war action. A locked guidance solution compresses the decision cycle. Iranian commanders believe geography, distance, and reaction time give them the advantage. They count on the narrowness of the Gulf and short ranges to shape the fight. What Iran didn't realize was the response had already begun. Minute by minute, U.S. systems detect and confirm. Shipboard radars and electronic surveillance pick up new emission patterns. Algorithms flag lock on signatures. Operators verify. Commands route options up the chain. No public announcement. No broadcast to Tehran. Electronic warfare elements power up. Jammers and decoys go active. Signals on the shore change. Emissions drop. Tracking data degrades. Radar operators adjust. Missile batteries lose precise tracking. Surface and air assets change posture. Escorts maneuver to optimal positions. Communications move to secure channels. Commanders at every level refine the response. The objective is control, not escalation. Deterrence, not provocation. Silence becomes the instrument of dominance. Opposing command centers go quiet. Coastal batteries lose their tracking picture. Communications degrade and fragment. No missiles are fired. The initiative collapses. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade. No missiles are fired, but total loss of initiative. What Tehran did not expect was that silence itself would be the outcome. The complex of sensors, doctrine, and timing that promised a local advantage simply stops functioning. Options evaporate. Control, achieved without destruction, proves to be the decisive effect. Persian Gulf, 3:14 p.m. Broad daylight, clear skies, Perfect visibility. USS Theodore Roosevelt is a U.S. aircraft carrier conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal at first. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. S-band arrays narrow their beam. The mode shifts with a subtle increase in pulse repetition and a spike in emitted power. The difference is invisible to the eye, but unmistakable in the electromagnetic spectrum. For USS Theodore Roosevelt, the carrier is no longer just a contact on a screen. Now it is a target. This is not a drill. The radar energy lingers and locks onto the Roosevelt hull and superstructure. In technical terms, the ship is being painted. The radar signal bounces off the carrier silhouette and returns in a tight, continuous stream. On board the Roosevelt, electronic support measures register the change instantly. The spectrum display lights up with frequency, strength, and dwell time. The operator voice stays calm, and the alert moves up the chain. Along the coast, the Iranian command post initiates a data link handoff. Target data transmits to missile batteries hidden behind berms and camouflage. The handoff is precise. Missile crews receive a firing solution with bearing, range, and speed. Noor and Khalij Far's batteries, capable of reaching well beyond the central Gulf, go on alert. The targeting radar tone is steady and unwavering. For the missile crews, this is the threshold between watchfulness and intent. In military doctrine, this moment is not a drill. Locking on with fire control radar is a deliberate act. It signals readiness to launch. It compresses reaction time to seconds. For the Roosevelt Combat Information Center, the distinction is clear. Surveillance can be ignored. Targeting cannot. Every system shifts posture. Defensive radars rotate. Electronic warfare suites come to life, searching for vulnerabilities in the incoming signal. Orders are relayed without hesitation. The technical snap from search to paint happens in less than a minute. A focused beam, a silent data link, a missile battery waiting for the next command. In the confined waters of the Persian Gulf, this is how a confrontation begins. Not with noise, but with a sudden concentrated signal. The Roosevelt is now in the crosshairs, and every operator on both sides knows what that means. What Iran did not realize was the response had already begun. U.S. sensors detect the signature and data fuses across platforms. Targets are classified and validated. Communications inside the carrier and across the task group move to secure channels. Electronic attack doctrine shifts from passive to active. Jamming and deception routines engage, masking the carrier signature and introducing false tracks. Defensive missile batteries assume intercept posture. Commanders elevate readiness levels and reposition assets by order. Actions happen in silence. There are no public announcements. Minute by minute, posture tightens, radars narrow, and search volumes change. Aircraft on alert. Cycle closer to the deck. Surface escorts reposition between threat axes and the carrier. A combat air patrol moves into station. Precision tracking continues, and the data picture updates. Every false alarm is filtered. Every confirmed track receives a response plan. Decision loops compress. Authorities deliberate, and commanders execute. Escalation occurs through control of the electromagnetic spectrum, through posture changes, and through command decisions. Electronic warfare denies accurate targeting. Deception and masking create uncertainty. Command authority imposes restraint and focus. The emphasis is on deterrence, control, and dominance through preparedness, not on spectacle. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade across their networks. No missiles fire. The initiative collapses. The outcome is total silence, not destruction. Silence is the result Iran did not anticipate. Their ability to act is removed by readiness, by electronic dominance, and by clear command decisions. The threat is neutralized without a single shot being announced or broadcast. The quiet that follows is decisive. Persian Gulf, 3:14 p.m., broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. The USS Theodore Roosevelt is conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal at first. On the northern shore, missile batteries extend coverage far beyond the horizon. Noor missiles can strike targets up to 120 kilometers from land. Their upgraded cousins, Rod, push that envelope to nearly 200 kilometers. The Khalij Fars, a ballistic anti-ship missile, stretches the threat even further, 300 kilometers from its launch site, and it can dive onto a moving carrier deck with radar-guided precision. The USS Theodore Roosevelt is operating well within these ranges. From almost any point along Iran's southern coast, a battery commander can plot a firing solution that covers the central Gulf. The carrier's position is not a secret. It is a known variable, tracked by radar, satellites, and sometimes by the naked eye from shore. The geometry of the Gulf means there are no safe zones, no blind spots. The Roosevelt's hull is always inside at least one missile envelope, often several at once. For Iranian commanders, geography is the advantage. The short distance from shore to shipping lane compresses every timeline. A Noor missile launched from the coast can cross 120 kilometers in under 6 minutes. The Khalij Fars, with its ballistic arc, takes even less time to reach a target at the edge of its range. There is little time for debate or warning. Once a missile battery shifts from standby to armed, the window for reaction closes rapidly. Military doctrine treats a missile lock as more than a signal. It is a declaration of intent. In rules of engagement followed by navies worldwide, active targeting is a direct threat and a possible prelude to hostilities. The moment fire control radars lock onto a ship, they cross a threshold. The carrier group's rules of engagement shift with it. Defensive systems are authorized to respond to imminent danger, not just to an actual launch. The envelope is not just a technical boundary, it is a trigger for command decisions on both sides. Targeting begins. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock on. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. What Iran didn't realize was the response had already begun. Detect, confirm, classify. US systems pick up the lock. They cross reference tracks. They validate without public announcements. Communications move on secure channels. Commanders receive discrete options. Postures change. Electronic warfare measures start. Signals degrade enemy sensors. Silent pulses confuse fire control. Surveillance feeds shift. Aircraft and ships adjust position and posture. Defensive radars sharpen. The carrier group layers detection and denial. There is no broadcast to the outside world. The escalation is procedural and it is deliberate. Minute by minute, the margin for action narrows. For the battery crews on shore, the U.S. response is measured, controlled, aimed at deterrence and dominance through preparedness. Systems deny tracking, links degrade, targeting data becomes unreliable. To the battery commander, the decision space collapses. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade across the coastal network. No missiles are launched. Initiative is lost. Silence, not destruction, is the real outcome Iran did not anticipate. Denial of the kill chain, coordinated posture, and electronic control remove the capacity to act. Preparedness becomes prevention. The threat exists, but the initiative is gone. Persian Gulf, 3:46 p.m., broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. USS Theodore Roosevelt is a United States aircraft carrier conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal at first. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock on. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. A missile lock-on is treated as a pre-war action because it precedes launch and it compresses reaction time. Iranian commanders believe geography, distance, and limited reaction windows give them an advantage. What Iran did not realize was the response had already begun. Combat Information Center. No windows, no sunlight, just screens, headsets, and the steady hum of filtered air. The moment the radar signature spikes, the watch team reacts. No one raises their voice. No one fumbles for a checklist. The electronic support measures console flashes, frequency, pulse width, angle of arrival. Within 60 seconds, the spike is confirmed. Not a random burst, not background clutter. The Roosevelt is being painted. A second operator, eyes on the spectrum analyzer, calls out the bearing. The contact is steady, unwavering. The data flows to the tactical action officer. He does not hesitate. A single word, verify. The order moves through the Combat Information Center, each station cross-checking. Surface search radars compare returns. Link 16 feeds update with fresh tracks from the escorting cruisers and destroyers. The air picture remains clean. No inbound aircraft. Only the persistent narrow band emission from the north coast. Within 2 minutes, the Roosevelt's electronic warfare suite is fully active. The ANSLQ-32 system sweeps the band, classifies the emitter, and cycles through countermeasure options. Operators adjust filters, searching for modulation changes that might signal a transition from tracking to launch. The system's logic tree runs through scenarios. Iranian S-band phased array, likely Mirage 4 or Asar. Range consistent with the Bandar Abbas sector. Data link handoffs are possible. The threat is real. 3 minutes in, the command network is silent, except for short-coded bursts. The Roosevelt's escorts, Ticonderoga-class cruisers, and Arleigh Burke destroyers shift electronic posture. Aegis arrays rotate. Defensive weapons are set to automatic engagement. No one announces the change. The posture shifts in code, in protocol, in the way a status board flickers from green to amber. Sensor fusion logic takes over. The Combat Information Center fuses radar, electronic support measures, and satellite data into a single composite track. The threat is isolated, geolocated, and assigned a probability index. The ship's own radars, the escort's sensors, and overhead assets all converge on the same conclusion. Verification is complete. There are no public statements. Detection, confirmation, and discrete countermeasures occur below the noise floor of public awareness. Electronic warfare pulses and frequency management create uncertainty for the emitter. Data links are denied. Handoffs fail. Authority roots in silence. And decisions move at the speed of the systems, not the speed of announcements. The effect is denial. The carrier strike group's posture constrains timelines and options. The adversary's calculations collapse into uncertainty. Control, not violence, becomes the decisive tool. Then, the signs of breakdown appear. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade across command nets. No missiles fire, but Iran suffers a total loss of initiative. Silence, not destruction, is the outcome Iran did not anticipate. Layered sensors, disciplined command, and targeted electronic disruption verify and deny before a shot is released. The decisive advantage is the ability to control the information battlespace. The silence that follows is the proof. Persian Gulf, 3:14 p.m., broad daylight, clear skies, perfect visibility. USS Theodore Roosevelt is a U.S. aircraft carrier conducting routine operations in international waters. Everything appears normal at first. Escorts move in coordinated patterns. Sensors report as expected. The strike group is a single, integrated organism. Roosevelt. Iranian coastal radar systems switch from monitoring to active targeting. Missile guidance systems lock on. This is not a drill. This is not a warning. A missile lock-on is treated as a pre-war action. It signals intent, and it compresses reaction time. Commanders treat it as an imminent threat because a guided weapon removes decision space. Iranian commanders believe geography, distance, and reaction time give them the advantage. What Iran didn't realize was the response had already begun. U.S. systems detect, they confirm, they react without public announcement. Electronic warfare begins silently. The carrier's electronic warfare suite, ANSLQ-32, shifts to active jamming. Frequencies are mapped, then flooded with tailored interference. Radar returns flicker, then blur. The steady return that marked the carrier's position begins to fade. Missile batteries, waiting for guidance, receive only partial data. The handoff between radar and missile falters. Guidance links drop. The lock is not broken by a broadcast or a threat, but by silence, deliberate, engineered, total. Silence. The escorts tighten formation. Defensive systems cycle through engagement options, each ready to fire in milliseconds if a launch is detected. Aircraft remain on deck. Catapults stay idle. There is no visible show of force, only the quiet assertion of control. Communications across the strike group remain clipped and coded. No one announces the change. The initiative, once in Iranian hands, slips away without a sound. Iranian command centers sense the shift. Their radar coverage contracts. Missile batteries lose track, then fall back to standby. Communications degrade. No public statements are issued. No warnings are broadcast. No missiles are fired. Iranian command centers go silent. Missile batteries lose tracking. Communications degrade. No missiles are fired, but there is a total loss of initiative. Silence, not destruction, is the real outcome Iran did not anticipate. Denial of information, denial of timing, and denial of initiative produce control. Preparedness and layered deterrence decide the moment, unseen and unspoken. Dominance. Silence in the Gulf is not absence, it is calculated presence. Today, every carrier crossing these waters triggers the same invisible contest. Radar against radar, nerve against nerve. As military technology advances, the first real warning may never be a missile. It may be a sudden, deliberate quiet. Deterrence is not loud. It is the control to end an incident before a shot is fired. Let me know your take in the comments below.